One last thing that I want to talk about before we hop on Rivals for the night. I want to talk about tomorrow. And I know it's not tomorrow yet, but tomorrow's going to be a pretty important day. Because if you guys don't know, tomorrow is when NVIDIA's Q3 results are going to drop. And that's going to be very, very interesting because right now, basically the whole market is kind of relying on, I mean, it's a lot of companies altogether, but NVIDIA is one of them. It's one of the main ones. And with a lot of chats recently about the AI bubble and a lot of people dumping all their stock right now, tomorrow's going to be really, really interesting to see where their stock lies. If it's up, great. The AI bubble will keep on growing. And maybe it's here to stay. And maybe it's not really a bubble. That's whatever. But if the earnings come out and they're slightly negative or slightly worse than they were last quarter, the halfway point of the year, we might be cooked. Anyways, tomorrow is the day where we're going to get a third quarter result. I'm really interested for this. And I think this article is pretty well written on what it's talking about. Investors are increasingly on edge about a possible AI bubble, and if NVIDIA posts good or better than expecting earnings, it could give those investors faith that AI infrastructure is on solid ground and has plenty of room to grow. But if NVIDIA's earnings disappoint or show signs of upcoming weakness, it could spell bad news not just for NVIDIA stock, but for the stock prices of all companies operating in the AI space, including that of Oracle, OpenAI, whatever it may be. I think what's really important to point out here is or show signs of upcoming weaknesses, because this will be a very easy tell. It'll be a very easy tell if it's leaning. It's going to be very easy tell. And especially after a lot of people like dumped their NVIDIA stock and a lot of companies kind of dropped out of the AI bubble. And the one guy that predicted the housing market financial crisis a while ago, is that like Barry? I forget his name. He like dumped everything, so he's like, I'm out of it. It's scary. Tomorrow is a scary day, and a lot of everything relies on how it's going to go. But here you can see some of their stuff. On August 27th, NVIDIA announced its Q2 results. That same day, the company released its forecast for the quarter that it is currently operating in. Here's what the company said it expected for its Q3 2026. So this is what it's expecting for tomorrow. And whether it is above or below or honestly even is going to say a lot about where the company is headed towards the future and also how the market will be headed. Also, kind of in related to this, I mean, talking about the market at all, especially from NVIDIA, such a massive company right now, a few days ago where the White House was like, yo, we're not posting the job market information for October. Like, we're not going to do that. That's scary. That's not good. So if this is bad, everything's just going to get a lot worse from where it already is. But anyways, the results, the revenue, 54 billion, plus or minus 2%. So we'll see how this is. GAAP gross margin, 73.3%, plus or minus 50 basis points. Non-GAAP gross margin, 73.5%, plus or minus 50. GAAP operating expenses, approximately 6 billion, and non-GAAP operating expenses, approximately 4 billion. So depending on how these actually fluctuate from what they expected, the market could be in a very interesting place. And I think people, because a lot of people are afraid of the bubble right now, I think a lot of people are on edge with their stock and where they're willing to hold or sell. So I think that even if it's slightly short, even if it's in this minus 2%, I think people might start selling. I think because people are so on edge, it makes tomorrow even more scary. The number that analysts usually care about most is revenue. NVIDIA forecast is 54 billion, which would equate to a range of roughly 52.9 billion to 55 billion. If this is, once again, if this is short, we're all cooked. What are your thoughts on the Labubu movie and how it will impact the housing market? The housing market will obviously fix itself. How have AI-related stocks been performing? NVIDIA's shares have been strong so far in 2025. As of yesterday's close, the stock is up more than 38% for the year. Back in October, NVIDIA made history when its share price rose to as high as $212, making NVIDIA the world's first public company ever to be valued at $5 trillion. So tomorrow will be a big tell on whether or not that crashes. It'll be interesting. But there's also like just a lot of other info going around that is putting people even more on edge about the AI bubble and their stock and their holdings. This is a pretty cool article that I was reading talking about the $300 billion OpenAI deal between obviously OpenAI and Oracle. And this was interesting because It was talking about how it's down. I wonder if I can find it. I forget where it is. How it was down like 75 million. Since September 10th, when Oracle announced a $300 billion deal with the chatbot maker, its stock has shed $315 billion in market value. September 10th pre-market, this is when they announced the deal. It shot up to 37% and then went all the way back down, which is a very bad thing. The value of the deal has gone down. People don't really care as much. This isn't related to the Nvidia thing, but it's just relevant for the bubble. The stock being back down to where it is and shooting all the way down low, is obviously very freaky. It's gonna be freaking scary. Because if this is already dropping, how is Nvidia gonna drop after tomorrow's earnings? It's gonna be a weird day tomorrow, and Loki, the whole economy is riding on it. So we'll see. We'll talk about this tomorrow on stream, but who fucking knows where we're gonna be tomorrow? I think odds are it'll probably be good. I think it'll probably look fine. It'll probably look good on the results, but if anything, that's a bad thing, because the company that really will be showing any real failure is going to be OpenAI. But we'll see what happens. But if it is bad, we're cooked. But I kind of doubt that it will be.